Okay, Tori. So I would like to start with your story of what really brought you into dietetics. Why did you kind of f find yourself following this path? And I'm assuming you didn't always want to specialize in postpartum, although I could be wrong. So
Oh.
then what took you even more specialized into prenatal, postpartum, pregnancy, all that? So
Okay,
give us
cool,
your
cool.
origin story.
Sure. So I decided I wanted to get into dietetics probably for pretty disordered reasons. I danced for about 20 years and I was dancing in college. And I finally was taking a break from that because of an injury. And I took a nutrition class and I was like, ooh, I can find all the answers to eat perfectly with big quotes around that. So that was sort of my reasoning for getting into it. I also liked cooking and like Ina Garden was always my favorite person to watch on TV. Like I loved, like, caring for people with food. And there was this like, helping aspect that was interesting to me. But like many of us, I feel like I really didn't know what I was getting myself into. And then when I went back to school and I did my master's, it was very clinical and my eating disorder, which was diagnosed during my master's, which was very interesting, became clear. And like the sort of orthorexic culture of my program was very, it was definitely problematic. I think that this unfortunately is a theme in many dietetic programs. But and then once I became a dietitian and I was practicing as a ShopRite dietitian or a grocery store retail dietitian, I found myself really drawn to women who were struggling with their relationship with food. And that was like the niche that I was finding myself, oh, these are my favorite clients. These are my favorite clients because I related to them so much. And then I went back and did my intuitive eating certification. And and then it wasn't until I became pregnant and I went through postpartum with my first child that I was like, wait, there's a lot of stuff people are not talking about and how this interacts with my own recovery with my eating disorder. I was like, I wish I had more support around this. My therapist wasn't really doing it. Like she was trying her best, but I feel like she didn't even really have the tools to help me and give me the insight that I might need of like what could be triggering and what I maybe needed to put in place and things like that. So with my own experience, that's sort of where I found my secondary niche in um, prenatal postnatal.
Well, I have a very similar story to you, I feel like, and having that, that lived experience of becoming a mother and being a
Mhm.
birthing parent, it absolutely transforms your relationship with your body and food, but obviously your body being the vessel that has created human life. So, I mean, we have so many people that listen that are either trying to conceive, currently pregnant, postpartum, have experienced pregnancy loss. I mean, there's so many different ways we could go with this. And I know that you and I could truly speak for 5+ hours on this podcast, but we don't
I
have the
know, I
time.
know.
So, where do you find that? Let's go with body image first in the
Sure.
pregnant and postpartum stages. I know those are different, but where do you think if someone's listening to this and they're pregnant and struggling with body image or they're postpartum and struggling with body image, what would you want to say to them or what are some things you might do with a client like that?
Sure. I mean, I think number one is to validate them and be like, it's so okay that you're feeling the way that you are if you are not liking the body changes that are occurring to you, or, if it's triggering things that haven't been triggered for you in a very long time, or if new food thoughts are coming up that haven't in years, like, it's okay. Take a deep breath. I've been there too. And you deserve support. So that's my number one is like, it's not a you problem. Other people have dealt with this too. And you're so not alone. And I think that there is such a culture of like a toxic positivity with pregnancy and postpartum in terms of body image of like, but like I think especially when you're pregnant, it's like, but you're carrying a baby. Oh, you should be so grateful, right? This gratitude thing, and it's like so much both and I would say.
Hmm.
Like, yes, we can be so, so grateful. And I am so grateful. And I'm having a really hard time with all the body changes that are happening so fucking fast. They're
Hmm.
coming at me. Like, I remember being like, I finally have wrapped my head around this body and it's changing again. Like, how many changes can I deal with? And also for anyone listening who hopes one day to be a birthing parent, your body will change. And the one thing I would say to you is like, do work now if you struggle with your relationship with your body, because it will it will give you a leg up. It will help you so much navigate those changes, which will inevitably happen. Like I mean, even if you're not going to go through pregnancy, your body will change. But there's another layer of change that absolutely occurs when you're carrying life. And I feel like some people think like, oh, what's the point? My body's going, I'm gonna have a baby, like my body's gonna change. And I'm like, no, 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 no. There is absolutely a point. I cannot imagine having done like not having done work and then being pregnant. I think it would have been so distressful for me. So I think validating it's okay that you're feeling the way you are. You can hold both and you can be grateful and you can really, really hate what's happening to your body and not like the changes. And I think those would be like my top things right away. I have other thoughts like, around clothing or around body image boundaries, like, family commenting or friends commenting, of all those kinds of things. But those would be like my top of mind. It's okay. Because I felt so invalidated. I felt like, what's wrong with me? Like, I'm supposed to love this.
Mm.
Or, I'm supposed to be so grateful. Or like, the jeans will make it all better. Like buying the jeans. Like I hear that on Instagram. It's like, well, just go get a new size and then you'll feel better. And I'm like, I did that and it didn't work. What is wrong with me?
Yes.
Like I promise. And I think that like, I wish I had someone in my ear being like, it's okay, Tori. It's okay. It's okay. Nothing is wrong with you. You're a human. And maybe you're just voicing things or thinking things that you're not hearing other people say.
Totally. Totally. I love that you went straight to that and statement. I think an and statement is so powerful because something can be beautiful and really fucking hard. I know personally, like going through IVF and infertility, there was like this extra layer
Hmm.
that I felt of like guilt of like, I've wanted this for so long. I should be so grateful. I should not be complaining and then feeling guilty for some of that. But I
And I
can,
experienced the same thing, Sam. Like
yeah.
I had two pregnancy losses
Mm.
between my two kids. And that like after experiencing those and then getting pregnant. And also, I don't know if you felt like this too, but the second time around, I was like, okay, I know what to expect. This is going to be better now. Like I've done some body image work and it was still hard. It was still hard. Like, yeah, I knew what was coming and that was helpful. Absolutely. I wasn't as anxious about it, but it was still hard. And I'm postpartum, I'm 6 months postpartum, and it's still hard. I have more tools. And I think that's just like a better understanding about body image work as a whole is like body image work is not we're not going into this to magically like have you're probably not going to end up loving your body. But if we can move the needle of that body image distress from an 8 to a 6 or from a 10 to an 8 and move towards body neutrality, and body acceptance, that's my goal for you, right? But I think that social media has painted this picture of like body love and body positive means it like I wake up every day being like, yes, I love my thighs. And I just don't think that's a real picture of what it is to be in a body.
Totally. I'm so glad you brought that up. And I also love that you brought up how, like, us being second time parents, like, having that definitely more confidence and comfortability and less fear because we've been through it before. But for me, like, and I'm sure you might agree, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but when like trying to conceive, you have no fucking control. You have no control. You have no control of the pregnancy. You have no control of the birthing experience. And it's this practice of full surrendering. And I find that there's so many complements and parallels to like body image work and motherhood and how you talked about earlier, like you feel so grateful that you've done this work and recovery before becoming a parent. I think about that all the time because I
Yeah.
had terrible postpartum anxiety and depression with my first. And I all I could do, like even when I was in the depths of that, is think about like our clients that have like a really unpleasant relationship with food and body and how if they were experiencing postpartum anxiety and depression it's only going to exacerbate the
Hmm.
negative thoughts and emotions around food and body image. And so doing this work now of that acceptance and giving up
Yeah.
control is just it's so powerful for all aspects of life, but specifically obviously we're talking to birthing parents and people who are trying to
Yeah. I
conceive.
mean, I think about it all the time that if I hadn't done this work, I probably wouldn't have my kids.
Hmm.
I was so scared of my body changing with pregnancy. And I feel like, ooh, I don't hear anyone talk about that, right? That
Hmm.
like that's okay if you're feeling that way too, of like, I want to have a baby, but I'm so scared of my body changing. And that kind of winning, and being in that place, like, hey, let that be a like red flag and be like, oh, maybe body image work would be something that could really help me if I one day would like to be a parent.
Yes,
That
totally.
can shift, that can change, and you can feel differently. And like that doesn't mean we can still hold fear and we can move through it with support. Like that is our goal.
Absolutely. Thank you for saying that and stating that out loud because I know so many people can relate to that. And for those who listening who haven't had a child or have never been pregnant and haven't gone through body changes specific to trying to conceive, if we've ever been dieting and gone through ebbs and flows of weight gain, weight loss, weight gain, weight loss, and we saw that picture of ourselves when we may have resided in a smaller body. And it's like, okay, were you happy then? Right? Like,
Yeah.
and 99.9% of the time, they're like, no, I hated myself. Nothing
Mhm.
was ever good enough.
Yeah.
And but now we see with our clients, they can sit there and they can say, no, I feel so much more free and happy, regardless of the size of my body.
Right.
It's like that body image work can be done regardless of if you're trying to conceive pregnancy postpartum. It's how we feel. It's really comes down to like what are our thoughts and beliefs about smaller bodies versus larger
Right.
bodies, right? Whether you're
For
pregnant
sure.
or not, whatever. But
You just know
um
when you're going to be pregnant, that is going to be hitting you in the face.
correct. And there's
Like,
no
okay,
stopping that. Yep.
no, no. And I think one thing I also want to point out of like, why would I want to be doing this kind of work during pregnancy? If you have a history of disordered eating or an eating disorder or just a tricky relationship with food, when you become pregnant, you are given your first appointment. Hey, these are foods you can't eat. Let's just like ponder if you have a history with a restrictive relationship with food, and then someone is telling you you are going to need to restrict these foods. Do you think that could be triggering for you?
And you're going to need to step on a scale and we're going to
Every
watch
t
that number
right,
go up.
every single appointment, your weight is going to be taken. Like, I feel like if I knew that, I'd be like, okay, I need support with food and my body during this time. And how amazing is it, Sam, that like if you have insurance benefits, that you can take this opportunity and like get support during this period.
Totally.
Oh my gosh, you deserve that. Pregnancy is so hard.
It is so hard. Like having someone that could walk alongside
Oh,
you, especially knowing the experience that you hold, not only your professional experience, Tori, but your lived experience of pregnancy loss, of going through pregnancy, birthing children, toddlerhood, all of the things that come along with it. And I want to speak to some of our postpartum mamas, and that means any time from day one after giving birth to 15-year-old
absolutely.
kids. Like
Amen.
you're always
You're
postpartum.
postpartum forever.
You're always postpartum, but it's everywhere. The bounce back culture of like, get your body back. And we think about like the comparison on social media of like comparing
Oh my
yourself
God.
to either a younger version of yourself, somebody who's never had a child, somebody who has had children, but is putting pictures of themselves up in the gym looking a certain way. So, what would you say to our postpartum moms and birthing parents listening who are just at this stage of like, I fucking hate my body. I don't know who I am. I don't recognize this body. What do you want them to hear?
You. I have been there. I am there in moments. Like you are not alone. Nothing is wrong with you. This is not a you experience. I promise. This is very real. It is so loud. Even when you try so hard to put those blinders up, like the bounce back pressure is so intense. And what I try to remind myself in this season, a few things, is one, we're meeting a new body for the first
Mhm.
time. This is a new body. If you were to meet a new friend who was different than you, would you judge them immediately? Would you hate on them because they had, it was different? You would probably want to understand them more or get to know them a little bit more or be soft and gentle, right? Ideally. And so this is something that I've been thinking about so much this go around postpartum is like, hi, hi body, like we're new. Like this is a new relationship. I've never experienced this body before.
Mm-hmm.
And this is going to take time for us to get to know each other. And I want to validate that shock factor. Every single birthing mother has looked in the mirror after giving birth and being been like, "Oh my God." That is what you just said, Sam, of like, I do not recognize myself right now. Every single woman who has given birth has felt that way. I just want to validate that. And it takes time. And I hate that it takes time for you because I hate that it takes time. That like the only way out is through. Like this is something that is going to take time for you to get to know this body better. Also, finding clothes that fit you is going to help you.
Totally.
Please, please take the clothes that don't fit you and remove them from your closet.
Yes.
You looking at those jeans that are a size X, every time you open your drawer and you're like, they don't fit, they don't fit. You don't need that reminder of what your body is not
Mm,
every day. Take them out. You need some core clothes that fit you right now. It doesn't have to be a lot, but you need some. And even just that will help your body image just a little bit, I promise. And I think so those like having some new or accessories, like having a few things that you're excited to put on, that would be one of my other tips. So it's just like I think validating like this is such a normal experience. It takes time to get to know this body. This is a new body, and you're allowed to not love it.
mm, that permission.
Yeah, like it's okay if you don't like it.
Yes. Totally. Totally.
And you can be so grateful for what your body has done.
I was just about to add the and statement. We can say, I fucking hate where I'm at right now, and I'm so proud of myself. I'm so proud of myself.
And if you don't want to be there anymore for the, for the next whatever, this is the nudge on your shoulder being like, hey, body image work could really help you.
Yes, it totally can. And it, as you know, this work doesn't just affect your relationship with your body, it affects
Mm,
everything in your life, and especially what we're talking about here, it will do wonders to the relationship that you have with your children because you can be present and not be in your head obsessing about what your body looks like, how much you weigh, how many calories you're eating. All this shit
yep,
quiets down and you can be present with your loved ones, which at the end of the day is the goal. One of our
smart.
clients said it, it's not intuitive eating, it's intuitive living. And I always hear that ringing in my head because it affects every aspect of your life.
Absolutely. And I feel like I'm sure you can agree with me. Almost, if not every single one of my female clients that I work with has origins of their disordered eating come from their mom's relationship with food.
Absolutely.
So if you are becoming a mom and you have some sticky stuff around body and food, this is a great time.
I love
This is
you.
the perfect
Yes.
time for you to look at yourself because how often stuff comes up around your child's eating that you're distressed about, that's actually a reflection of your own relationship with food.
I'm so happy you brought that up because that's a question we get a lot from parents, whether they already have children that are, middle school, whatever. Parents want the best for their children, right? And it's like, I don't want to pass on these body image issues or whatever it is. And I always say the best thing you can do is turn inward and work on your own relationship with food and body because that is going to bleed over into the relationships that are closest to you, aka
Absolutely. Like if
children.
you don't trust yourself with food, how are you going to trust your child's child with food?
Definitely. Oh gosh, Tori, we could talk forever, but I feel like this is such a beautiful message. I'm going to send this recording to every single person trying to conceive, pregnancy, postpartum, pregnancy loss, you name it. We will have the link in the show notes below where people can check their insurance benefits and meet with you. For those who are signing off on the podcast right now, if they don't remember anything we said, because we talked about a lot, what is one thing you want them to remember walking away from this episode?
Such a hard question.
It's a hard one.
Uh, I guess if I can say two,
You're allowed to say two.
everything you're feeling is so normal. It's so okay. You judging it is making it so much worse.
Mm,
So it's okay. It's okay. Allow that thought to sit right next to you. And I'm here to validate it's all right you're feeling that way. And the second thing is I've been there.
mm.
I've been there. And so I just always remind my clients like I'm human too. And if you're looking for a clinician who can really sit with you and empathize with you and who can relate, I think that we might be a good fit.
I love it. Thank you so much, Tori.
Of course.